friend Barb, Metro Mom Barb, we like to call her. She has a section on the Metroplex Baby and Kids website where she answers your tough parenting questions. So today, we thought instead of answering them online, she would come in and share them here and answer them here on the show for everyone, because I've read these and many of these are like, you know, pretty much every mom's going to deal with things like this. They're very common. Okay, so the first one, she says, my son is 10 and very responsible. I trust him. We know most of our neighbors very well. Would it be okay to leave him home alone when I'm just running to the store? He's 10.
That's a big question, and the reason we get it so much is because there's really not a clear, definite legal answer that you can find online or in parenting resources. And the bottom line is that the state of Texas does not define a specific legal age that a child can stay home without adult supervision. But there is a state law against neglectful supervision, which means that a reasonable person should be able to know and identify when a child could be in harm because they're limited by their mental or physical capabilities, or failing to remove them from that harm, especially when it results in the risk of harm physically to them. So what I would recommend is you need to know your child. How responsible and mature are they? What's the layout of your home? Is it secure? What kind of accidents could there have? Do you have an emergency plan? What access do they have to other responsible adults? Do they know their neighbors? Do they have emergency phone numbers that they can get to?
Do they have a cell phone, or do they have a landline that they can call from?
And just how safe is the environment? So you really, as a parent, need to consider all of this. And if you think your child can handle 10 minutes at a time, try 10 minutes at a time. Make sure they know we don't answer the door. You know, if there is an emergency, this is what you do. If you do fall down and get hurt, this is what happens. So it's a case by case, you know, depending on that child and your family.
I always felt it was like a teenager sort of thing, and they're okay when they're teenagers, but you know, 10 years old, you're just running to the store. I sort of feel like just, you know, put them in the car with you and run to the store. I don't know. It is case by case though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I love this one. My kids are only 7 and 10, but their shoes are really stinky. Hi, I so feel your pain. What can I do to get rid of the odor without spraying chemicals on them, and can I prevent them from getting like this? If your kids play sports especially.
And not even that. I mean, just depending on the kind of shoe, and especially in this weather right now. So there's a really easy and cheap, practically free solution to this without using chemicals, which, especially the alcohol-based ones, those can dry and irritate skin. So it's really not a good idea to use chemicals, and you don't have to. You don't have to spend that money. So here's the thing. Bacteria is alive, and it festers, and it lives off of the moisture that is accumulating in your shoes from body oil and sweat. So you have two things. You have to kill that bacteria, and you have to make sure that the environment is dry so that they don't thrive in it. Now, did you know that deep freezing can kill bacteria? That's why food doesn't spoil in the freezer. Very simple. Throw the shoes in your deep freezer for a few hours. It'll kill the bacteria.
Maybe wash them first.
Or put them in a Ziploc bag, but it doesn't matter because it will absolutely just kill the bacteria.
Really?
And yeah, it'll kill them.
But what about when they like thaw out, when they're not
Well, the bacteria is already
anymore?
dead. So in theory, it just blows off, right? But it's dead. You've already killed it. So that's job number one, is to just kill the bacteria. Secondly, you have to keep that environment dry. And for that, I recommend a charcoal-based product. These are shoe deodorizers made by Ever Bamboo, and they're 100% natural. They're made from bamboo charcoal, and you just put them in the shoe. They are a deodorizer. They're a dehumidifier, so they absorb the moisture. And then every month or so, you throw these babies out in the sun, and they recharge themselves.
Oh, so at the end of the day, they take their shoes off.
Yeah, just put those in there. Make sure that they are allowed to dry out.
Maybe once a week you throw them in the freezer.
also makes a good product. These are little pearl packs that you throw in. These are all natural, non-toxic as well. They absorb humidity and odor. So
those smell really good
something
too.
like that that's non-toxic is a good idea. But that two-part job: kill them and keep them from growing again.
Okay, here's a good one, Barb, and this is sort of one of those. I guess maybe it depends on the kid or the family. But this mom wants to know, what is a good age to have a television in your own room?
Okay. When they can pay rent on that room is the bottom line answer. It's not a good idea, because here's the thing. If they're watching TV in the room, they're not being physically active, okay? And they are not developing good sleeping habits if they're spending too much time on that TV. This is going to lead to weight gain and problems with nutrition. It's going to lead to poor grades. And you also can't control what they're watching. So how do you know what messages are getting through to them? I mean, they could practically rewrite their sex ed book. So it's just not a good idea. I would not do it at all.
Okay, let's see. Barb, my 18-month-old has become attached to some of her dolls and wants them in the crib with her when she goes to sleep. I've been paranoid about the safety of toys in the crib, so I'm sneaking in after she falls asleep to take them out. At what point is it safe enough to let her have a doll in the crib?
Okay, so first, you never introduce a toy or a doll just because you think your baby would like that. If baby's not able to lift their head yet, under 4 months, you don't need anything in there. Anything that can cover their face puts them at risk for rebreathing stale air, and that can lead to sudden infant death syndrome. So not a good idea there. This is an older child, 18 months, probably can move something, you know, if they feel like they're not breathing on their own. But here's the thing, you want to make sure, it depends on the toy. So something like this, you can see it's very cute, it's very small, you think it's innocent, but you see these eyes and this nose, those can pop off and become choking hazards. So you want something seamless, no ribbon. These eyes are sewn in, very lightweight. But one thing you got to be careful. I mean, this would fit the bill too, but you see how big this is. 2 or 3 of these, and you can stack them, and now the child can climb up and you know, get out of the crib just by
because they
stacking
are
the toys.
sneaky, aren't they? They're smart and
they
they're
are so smart. So you really want to limit it in size and safety, and make sure you never check the label. Make sure you never give them something that's not meant for their age.
Okay, these are great answers, Barb. I'm glad we did this. We should do this more often and answer some of these questions. You can ask Barb your questions, by the way, by going to metroplexbaby.com, and she'll answer them for you there. And we're back with more broadcasts right after this.